The phone vibrated on the kitchen counter, a low buzz that sliced through the silence of our empty house. It was 2:17 a.m., and the screen glowed with a name I hadn't seen in years, Mark. My stomach lurched, a cold fist tightening around my insides. Why was my wife's ex texting her now, in the dead of night? I stood frozen, the linoleum chilling my bare feet, as the notification faded. Her phone locked itself, but the name burned into my retinas. I told myself it was nothing. Old friends catch up, don't they? But the air felt heavy, like the moment before a storm breaks. Lila had been distant for weeks. Her laughter, once a melody that filled our home, now echoed only when she was on the phone, tucked away in the guest room or out on the porch. She'd started spending weekends with friends. Vague plans she waved off with a smile. "You don't need to worry, Ethan," she'd say, her hazel eyes bright but guarded. "It's just coffee with the girls or catching up with Mark. We're just friends now." I'd nod, swallowing the unease, because questioning her felt like betraying the trust we'd built over 8 years. But trust is a fragile thing, and hers was starting to feel like glass under pressure. That morning, as she sipped her coffee, her phone buzzed again. She glanced at it, then flipped it face down, her fingers lingering on the case. "Work," she muttered, but her voice was too tight, her smile too quick. I watched her over the rim of my mug, the steam curling like doubt between us. "You've been out a lot lately," I said, keeping my tone light. "Mark's been around, huh?" Her eyes flicked to mine, sharp for a split second before softening. "He's going through a rough patch. Needs a friend. You know how it is." I didn't, but I nodded anyway, the knot in my chest tightening. The days blurred, each one a slow drip of suspicion. Her perfume lingered in the car, too strong, like she'd reapplied it before coming home. A receipt for a wine bar I'd never been to slipped out of her purse, dated last Saturday, when she'd said she was at a book club. I rationalized it. Maybe she'd gone after, maybe it was a group thing. But the receipt was for 2 glasses of Pinot, not a pitcher for a crowd. I shoved it back into her purse, my hands trembling, hating myself for snooping but unable to stop. One night, she came home late, her cheeks flushed, her hair slightly mussed. "Book club ran long," she said, avoiding my eyes as she kicked off her boots. The air smelled faintly of cigarette smoke, though she'd quit years ago. I stood in the hallway, watching her move toward the bathroom, her silhouette framed by the dim light. "Lila," I called, my voice cracking. She paused, her hand on the doorknob. "Is there something you're not telling me?" The question hung there, heavy, like a guillotine waiting to fall. She turned, her face a mask of calm. "Ethan, if you don't trust me hanging out with my ex every weekend, maybe we're done." Her words hit like a slap, sharp and final. She didn't wait for my response, just closed the door behind her. The sound of the shower running drowned out the roar in my head. I couldn't sleep that night. Her words looped in my mind, each syllable a splinter. Maybe we're done. Was it a challenge? A confession? I lay there, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment. The late nights, the locked phone, the way her laughter had become someone else's. By dawn, I was a wreck, torn between love and dread, guilt and anger. I wanted to believe her, to cling to the woman who'd once cried in my arms after a fight, promising we'd always be honest. But doubt is a poison, and it was spreading. The next weekend she left again, her purse slung over her shoulder, her smile too bright. "I'll be back by dinner," she said, kissing my cheek. Her lips were cold. I waited until her car pulled out, then grabbed my keys. I told myself I was just going for a drive. But my hands steered toward the wine bar from the receipt. The place was small, all dark wood and amber lights, the kind of spot where secrets feel safe. I parked across the street, my heart pounding, and waited. An hour later I saw them. Lila and Mark, sitting by the window, their heads bent close. Her hand rested on his arm, her laugh spilling out, bright and unguarded, the laugh I hadn't heard in months. My vision blurred, the world narrowing to that single point of contact. Then he leaned in, and she didn't pull away. Their lips met, soft and deliberate, like a promise they'd made before. I don't remember driving home. The house was too quiet, the air thick with betrayal. Her phone was on the counter. She'd forgotten it in her rush. I unlocked it with the code she'd never changed. Our anniversary. The texts from Mark were a gut punch. Can't wait to see you tonight. You make me feel alive again. He doesn't deserve you. Each message was a shard cutting deeper, until I found one from her. I'm scared, but I want this. I want you. When she came home, I was sitting in the dark, her phone in my hand. She froze in the doorway, her eyes wide, the flush draining from her face. Ethan, she started, but her voice broke. I held up the phone, my hand steady despite the storm inside me. Tell me I'm wrong, I said, my voice low, almost a growl. Tell me this isn't what it looks like. She opened her mouth, then closed it, tears welling in her eyes. The silence was louder than any confession. I love you, she whispered finally. But I love him too. The words shattered something in me. Something I didn't know could break. I stood, the phone clattering to the floor, and walked past her, my shoulder brushing hers for the last time. The door closed behind me, the sound final, like the end of a song I'd thought would play forever. As I drove into the night, the city lights blurring through my tears, I realized the twist wasn't her betrayal. It was mine, for loving her so much I'd ignored the truth until it broke us both.